Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Hazrat Abu Tamima radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates from a man of his tribe that he once came to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It could have been such that Hazrat Abu Tamima was present there when the man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The man said, "Are you the Nabi of Allah?" "Yes," replied Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. "Whom do you pray to?" he asked. "I pray to the one Allah who is most honored and most high. He is the one who removes your difficulty when you call to Him. It is He who causes your crops to grow when you call to Him, to remove your drought. It is He who responds to your prayer when you call Him at the time when you are lost in a rocky land without transport." The man accepted Islam immediately and then asked for advice. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not swear anything." When relating this to people, the man said that since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him the piece of advice, he has not even sworn a goat. Hazrat Muawiyah bin Haidar radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that he once came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I have not come to you before this because I have sworn more times than my fingertips can count that I shall never come to you and never accept your religion." He placed his hands on top of each other as he said this to show the number of his fingertips. "However, Allah has now sent me to you, so here I am with no knowledge of that which Allah has given you save very little. I ask you in the name of Allah's great countenance to tell me what Allah has sent you with." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "Allah has sent me with the deen of Islam." "What is Islam?" was his next question. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Islam is to say that you surrender yourself over to Allah and renounce all others, that is, all other gods. It also entails that you establish salah and pay zakah. Every Muslim deserves respect, and every two Muslims are brothers to each other and help one another. When a mushrik accepts Islam, his deeds will be accepted from him only when he separates himself from the other mushrikeen. Why should I be grabbing hold of your waist to save you from Jahannam? Listen, my Rabb shall call me on the day of Qiyamah and ask me, 'Did you convey the message of Islam to my servants?' I shall then be able to say, 'O my Rabb, I have certainly conveyed it.' Understand this well. Those present here must convey the message to those who are absent. Behold, you will then be called forward on the day of Qiyamah with your mouth sealed. The first thing to speak will be a person's thigh, followed by his hands." Hazrat Muawiyah bin Haidar radiallahu ta'ala anhu then asked, "O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is this our deen?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "This is our deen. Wherever you may practice on it properly, it will suffice for you." Hazrat Adi bin Hatim radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates, "When I heard about the coming of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I disliked this very greatly. So I left and found myself close to Rome. According to another narration, he said, so I left and went to the Caesar. However, I disliked this place more than I disliked the coming of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I then said to myself, by Allah, why do I not rather meet this person? If he is a liar, it will not harm me in the least. On the other hand, if he is speaking the truth, I would know it." Hazrat Adi bin Hatim radiallahu ta'ala anhu continues the story and says, "So I came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When I arrived, the people started shouting, 'Adi bin Hatim, Adi bin Hatim.' When I came before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to me, 'O Adi bin Hatim, accept Islam and stay in peace.' He repeated this 3 times. I said to him, 'But I already follow a deen.' He replied, 'I know more about your deen than you do.' Hazrat Adi bin Hatim says further, I said, 'You know more about my deen than I do?' He replied, 'Yes. Are you not from the Rakusiya sect, and have taken a quarter of your people's booty?' I said, 'True.' He then continued, 'This is not permissible for you according to your religion.' I admitted, 'Yes, it certainly is not permissible.' After hearing this, I was humbled before him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then added, 'Listen, I am also well aware of the thing that prevents you from accepting Islam. You say that only simple people who have no influence follow him, people whom the Arabs have cast out. Do you know the place Hira? Hazrat Adi radiallahu ta'ala anhu replied, "Though I have never seen the place, I have certainly heard about it." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then said, "I swear by the being who controls my life, Allah shall bring this propagation of Islam to such completion that a veiled woman shall leave from Hira all alone and perform tawaf of the Kaaba without the need of having someone accompany her. Without doubt, the treasures of Kisra shall also be conquered." In astonishment, Hazrat Adi radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, "The treasures of Kisra bin Hurmuz?" "Yes," replied Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "the treasures of Kisra bin Hurmuz. In addition to this, wealth will be so freely spent that there will be none to take it." After narrating the story, Hazrat Adi said, "There is the woman from Hira performing tawaf without anyone to accompany her. There is the woman from Hira performing tawaf without anyone to accompany her, and I was among those who conquered the treasures of Kisra. I swear by the being on whose control is my life. The third prophecy shall also come true, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it." Hazrat Adi narrates that he and some others were at a place called Aqrab when a group of horsemen sent by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived there. They captured some people along with Hazrat Adi's aunt. When they were brought before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and lined up before him, his aunt said, "O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, my breadwinner has gone missing. My children are no more, and I am just an old woman who cannot be of any service. Be kind to me, and Allah will be kind to you." "Who is your breadwinner?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked. "Adi bin Hatim," was the reply. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The one who escaped from Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed kindness to her by letting her go, and as she left, a man who had been with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is, whom they believe was Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, said to her, "Why do you not ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for transport?" When she asked for transport, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered and had it arranged for her. Hazrat Adi continues the story. He says, "When my aunt came back, she said to me, 'Your father would never have done what you did, that is, deserting her like that. Whether you like it or not, you will have to go to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.'" She then recounted the incidents of many people who had been to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and enjoyed a favorable reception. I then proceeded to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When I came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I saw a woman and 1 or 2 children sitting with him. Hazrat Adi also mentioned how close they sat next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I gathered from this that he was neither like the king Kisra nor like the Caesar. That is, he was much more approachable. He said to me, O Adi bin Hatim, what made you run away? Did the thought of saying that there is none worthy of worship but Allah make you run away? Is anyone worthy of worship but Allah? What made you run away? Did the thought of saying Allah is the greatest make you run away? Is there anything greater than Allah, the Most High, the Most Exalted? I then accepted Islam, and I saw the face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam light up with happiness, and he said, "Indeed, those with whom Allah is angry are the Jews, and those who are astray are the Christians." Hazrat Adi continues, some people then began asking Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for things, and because he had nothing with him, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started encouraging the sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum to assist these people. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then praised Allah and said to the people, "O people, spend from that wealth which is extra, even though it may be 1 sa or even less than that, whether it may be a handful or even less than that." One of the narrators by the name of Shubha says that as far as he can remember, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also added, whether it may be a single date or even a piece of a date. Every one of you shall stand before Allah on the day of Qiyamah, and Allah shall ask you exactly as I am telling you now. Allah shall say, "Did I not bless you with the faculties of hearing and seeing? Did I not give you wealth and children? What have you sent ahead from this?" A person will then look in front of him and look behind him. He will look to his right and look to his left, but he will find nothing there. He shall have nothing to save him from the fire of Jahannam besides the countenance of Allah. Therefore, save yourselves from the fire of Jahannam, even though it be with a piece of the date that you give as charity. If you do not even have this much, then do so by speaking a kind word to a beggar. Verily, I do not fear poverty overcoming you, for Allah shall certainly assist you, and shall certainly bestow His bounties upon you. According to another narration, he said, Allah shall certainly grant you many conquests, until the time comes when a veiled woman shall travel between Hira and Medina, or even a greater distance, without the fear of being robbed while sitting in her carriage. Hazrat the Jawshan Dababi radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates, I came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the battle of Badr, and brought with him the foal of my horse Qarha. I said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Muhammad, I have brought for me the foal of my horse Qarha, so that you may use it for yourself. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, I have no need for it. However, if you wish to exchange it for a suit of armor from the battle of Badr, you could have any suit you choose. I replied, I am not prepared to exchange this pedigreed horse today. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have no need for it. O the Joshan, will you not accept Islam to become among the first to accept Islam? When I replied to the negative, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, Why not? I said, Because I see that your people are upset with you. He asked me, How did you receive the news of the defeat of the Mushrikeen at Badr? I said, All the news has reached me. He said, We will have to give you guidance to Islam. He responded, On condition that you take control of the Kaaba and start living there. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, If you are alive then, you shall certainly see it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then said to Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, O Bilal, take the man's satchel and fill it with ajwa dates as a provision for his journey. As Hazrat the Joshan radiallahu ta'ala anhu was leaving, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, He is among the finest horsemen of the Banu Amir tribe. Hazrat the radiallahu ta'ala anhu continued the story when he said, By Allah, I was with my family in a place called Ghor when a rider arrived. I asked him, What have people been doing? He replied, By Allah, Muhammad has taken control of the Kaaba and is living there. When I heard this, I said to myself, If only my mother had lost me as a child. If only I had accepted Islam that day. If I had even asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for the district of Hira, then he would have allotted it to me. According to another narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, What prevents you from Islam? And he replied, I see that your people belie you, have exiled you from Makkah, and are now at war with you. I shall now watch developments. If you get the upper hand over your people, I shall accept Iman and follow you. However, if they get the upper hand over you, I shall not be following. Hazrat Bashir radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam invited him to accept Islam on one occasion. After he accepted Islam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, What is your name? When he replied that his name was Nazir, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, From today your name shall be Bashir. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then made him stay on the platform within the masjid called Sufa, where the poor homeless Muslims stayed. It was the practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to share all the gifts he received with the men on Sufa, and to give them all the sadaqah he received. One night, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left his home, and Hazrat Bashir radiallahu ta'ala anhu followed him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the graveyard called Baqi and said, Peace be on you, O home of the mu'mineen. We shall soon be joining you, for we all belong to Allah and shall return to Him. You people have certainly met with extreme good and have been saved from immense evil. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then turned to Hazrat Bashir radiallahu ta'ala anhu and asked, Who is there? When Hazrat Bashir gave his name, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Does it not please you that Allah has diverted your hearing, your heart, and your sight to Islam, whereas you had been from among the Rabi'a tribe, who breed fine horses, and who claimed that the earth would be turned upside down had it not been for them? Hazrat Bashir radiallahu ta'ala anhu replied, Indeed, O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then asked him, "What brings you here?" Hazrat Bashir replied, "I followed you here because I was afraid that no calamity should befall you, or that some creature should not harm you."